Hi everyone, I'm back. I'm here with Dan Wang with White Glove Consulting. He offers a lot of things, and I know I've worked with him personally on a couple of home renovations and things like that with clients. But I think some of the things that they're passionate about and what got them into the business is very interesting. So I wanted to have him on the show today so that he can talk to you a little bit about that. Thanks for coming on, Dan.
Thank you for having me, Dena.
So why don't you tell everyone a little bit about yourself and your background and kind of why you got into this and what got you into this consulting business?
Yeah, I moved down to Texas about 11 years ago from New Jersey. I got tired of shoveling snow, and I met my wife here, and we started a business because we had a client that, she had a problem. She wanted to grow her business, and she didn't know how to remodel, like what she was looking for to remodel her business, because that was going to be a headquarters. She was going to spread to other markets and everything else. But if that's going to be a headquarters where clients were going to go in and see her and see what they're about, they want to be presentable. And their facility was aging and they didn't do much upkeep. So my wife and I went there, we looked around and we're like, okay, so these are some of the things you could do to make your area much more presentable, much more upgraded. And we start giving her color choices, et cetera. And what we do, why we are called White Glove, we got the name from her actually because we went out and shopped for her. We looked at different colors and samples and everything else. And we brought it to her. So she had day-to-day operations she has to do. She doesn't have time to go to Home Depot or Floor Decor or any other places to go, maybe I like this color, maybe I want this one. We brought it all to her so we can actually see it in person, on location, what it looks like. And from that, we kind of like just spread out from there from other referrals.
So, besides, general contracting and everything like that, like why did you choose consulting as opposed to White Glove? It's kind of probably because you do go out and you do
Yes.
kind of more of a consultative approach.
Correct.
As far as picking things and helping people design and
Correct.
things like that.
Yeah, a lot of general contractors walk in and be like, "That's what you want? Okay, we'll go ahead and do it." Not saying if it's a good idea or a bad idea, because a lot of clients may have an idea like, this is what I want, and then when this gets done, they're like, oh, it's not something I was envisioning. That's where my wife comes in and she'll consult them, say, this color scheme may or may not work, this design may or may not work, it's a good idea, bad idea, what kind of color match would work, what shading even, just like the grays. There's so many different color grays. Some people like lighter grays, darker grays, and what goes with everything else. So consulting, we like to help people solve their problem by giving them an idea what, their solution could be and possibility,
Maybe what you're seeing out in other homes, what's
Yeah.
trending in the market. They probably have.
Correct.
So you kind of do home design
Yeah.
as well as kind of picking things. So you bring the palettes to them so they can help choose what they're looking for exactly, or?
Correct. So we'll bring the color palettes and everything else, and we'll do a consultation first. Then we'll go into the contracting side. If they're happy with the thought process, design, the outlook, what the end results will be, then we'll go, okay, we have guys, we can make this happen. Would you like to go forward?
And depending on probably on the scope of the job, you probably can partner up with many people, whether it's architects or, home design people, depending on what the scope of the business is, correct?
Correct. So a lot of times, if it's something very complicated, we'll work with an architect, engineer, and say, is this feasible? How are we going to go around doing this? What is a good way of, what kind of materials can we do? I did a pergola gable expansion, and speaking to an engineer, we decided that we could tie the gable into the house. So there's no beams, supporting beams that's going to be right outside the rear door when they came out. So it looks a lot cleaner, a lot smoother, than oh, I have, you just need this many pillars and we're going to put it in there and it's going to all be in the way. It's a nice, refreshed look.
To make it a little more aesthetically pleasing to the eye and so that people can feel more welcome and, in
Yeah,
their
it
house.
becomes more functional, than having objects in your way.
I would say functionality is a big deal these days,
It is.
because sometimes, I think during COVID, a lot of people outgrew their own homes. So maybe they
Yeah.
outgrew their homes. I know I have some examples of families that maybe outgrew their homes, but they don't necessarily want to move because they want to live in the city and stuff. They don't want to go to the suburb and build the bigger house that has more space for them. You can come in on those kind of jobs and maybe help them. Maybe they can expand the home or just do design it a little differently, maybe knock out a wall or add a bathroom or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, there are a lot of homes here in Houston that's built in the 70s and 80s where the end thing was wall everything compartmentalized. You have your dining room that's compartmentalized from the kitchen, that's compartmentalized from the family room, compartmentalized from the living room. Now it's a lot more open concept, and they're like, how do I knock this wall down? How do I open this? Do I delete the fireplace and move it somewhere else? Et cetera, et cetera. And I think COVID did make a lot of people realize how maybe unhappy they are with their living conditions, what they're like, and they were like, maybe I can make it better, and we can make it happen. But again, we have to go in and consult with them first, and then be like, we can make this happen, and this is how it's going to look. Maybe just refresh the paint color even sometimes. Makes a huge difference.
And you're talking about the grays. I'm like, everyone, agreeable gray.
Agreeable
it's
gray.
the most agreeable color that you can possibly pick. And it's like the most popular Sherwin-Williams color on the planet. It's pretty universal, but I think people, don't always just want to go gray and white. The things change all the time, just like the browns were in the early,
the
2000s, the browns, everything. And then it got into whites and grays and, so it just,
Yep.
it'll revert back eventually. And
Yep.
so to make something more timeless is also important too, I think. So what makes you passionate about what you do?
We enjoy helping people. I mean, my wife and I are a part of 50 Star Search and Rescue. We're the founders of 50 Star Search and Rescue. And so we've been to Hurricane Florence, Michael, Delta, Lauren, all these disasters. And we see how people need help. And a lot of times the contractors that go in there afterwards, even while we're there, the contractors are like vultures. They all go in there. They'll do a fly-by-night thing. They'll set up a nice form for them to fill to look like, oh, here's your quote, here's a business card, and they use a burner phone, and they'll tell the clients, because I have, I'm changing banks, I can only take cashier's check or cash, or whatever reason, they won't take checks, personal checks or something. They'll just take genuine money, and then they'll be like, but we need half up front just to get started because materials, and it's kind of hard. You see all these houses being, having problems. Materials going to be hard to get. The sooner you get me the money, the sooner I can get you started. And a lot of homeowners, their house is destroyed or having a lot of problems. They're like, yeah, I want to get back to my normal livelihood. They feed on that fear, that insecurity that homeowners have. And they'll take the money and run. Next thing you know, they try to call the number, it's disconnected, or someone else picks up, be like, no, that was another number. And the homeowners are out.
Wow,
So-
that's very unfortunate to hear. I've never heard of people using burner phones. I mean, you think of crime or things like that, like burner phones, drug dealers or something like that, but you don't think of people that are fixing your homes using burner phones and, running and stealing your money. But I guess that kind of ties in with Rick with roofing companies, the fly-by-night,
Yep.
just
Yep.
come in and
Or people that sell car warranties.
storm chasers, what they call them, and
Yep.
or things like that.
Yeah, for us, we do 50 Star Search and Rescue. We do not take cash donations because we've seen other quote unquote search and rescue teams, I guess you call them, that they'll ask for funds because we need to get this, we need to get that. We're self-funded. That's what drives. It's a symbiotic relationship we have right now. My wife and I and other team members is that we do this to make money so we can support ourselves when we go out and do that. And the other thing is, because we do this as our own entrepreneurs, we can set our own timetable. So we can say, well, we know a storm is coming, we're going to put our projects, we could put our project on hold, or we could delay it so we can be there for other people that's in disasters.
And hopefully your clients see the value in that. And,
Yeah, they do.
Are passionate with you. And so you don't take any kind of donations from anybody?
No, we do not.
So it's all self-funded with you. And how many people are in 50 Star?
Well, right now it's Taylor Fontenot, Barbara Huang, and I, and we work with Texas Relief Warrior, Kara Adams, and we work with Trade of Truth with Relief Gang and Mr. DJ Rogers. We coexist with each other and help each other out. What we lack in certain something they can make up for. What they need, we can make up for. Everybody kind of plays an intricate part to help the community at the end of the day, to bring them back up to, at least some sort of decent living standard. It may not be the most optimal or ideal, but at the end of the day, we did, with the water burst, we went out and got water for everybody, because at the end of the day, people need water to drink. Even large facilities like senior homes, they don't have water. They don't have clean drinking water. Well, they need to cook the food for the seniors. So we'll go out and help bring food there or bring pallets of water. During hurricanes, we'll make sure that, people are first get out. What people don't realize is during a hurricane, when the sun goes down, Coast Guard, fire department, police department, they're done. They can't go out by protocol. So we fill in that gap for them and go out, and if someone's in a really bad situation and things are getting worse, nobody can go out there. The police department will help us in a sense that they will direct us, they will show us where it is, but they physically can't go and pull those people out of homes, put them on a boat, and get them to safety. Sometimes the National Guard will pull people out, but what they'll do is they just drop them off at the closest dry land. We go the extra step, and we figure out where there are shelters to take them. So when they come out of homes, they're not standing in a corner gas station that's above water, freezing. We'll take them to shelter, so at least they have, and the shelter's able to take them, or shelters that take animals. That's one thing a lot of people don't take in consideration doing, when they take them out. It's like, hey, I have a pet cat, pet dog. A lot of times they'll gotta leave them because the shelter doesn't take them. We'll try to identify shelters that do take their pets and bring them there.
And probably shelters that can bring people, their pets back and not
Correct.
Do things like that, take them. But I think it was kind of incredible for me. The freeze was a shock, obviously.
Yes.
In Houston, and I think it happened all over the country, but in Houston, it really kind of took us by shock, because we're definitely not prepared for that extreme weather. And I think for myself, I was not prepared with the water situation. It was a little crazy to think of how many things we actually use water for, and when you don't have it, what to do, in that situation. So it's awesome that you and Barbara, take that upon yourselves to help people and really go out there. But I want to tie this back up to your actual consulting company, beyond, the research and rescue and everything, which is amazing, and that you help fund it by doing your day-to-day consulting.
Yes.
Some of those things, how do people get a hold of you and get that going, and what's the process that you...
We do most of it through referral. We purposely do it that way so that the client feels secure, that we're not going anywhere. We're not the fly-by-night. We're not the one that's going to take your money and run off. Do I give my phone number? Or
Yeah, I would give them your phone number, your email address. How do they get a hold of you and Barbara?
whitegloveconsultingllc at gmail.com. My phone number directly to me is 201-723-6359. Yes, it's a Jersey number. Got tired of shoveling snow and paying the exorbitant taxes up there is insane, but yeah.
Okay, well, give them that phone number and contact information one more time so that they can get a hold of you.
Sure. The email address is whitegloveconsultingllc at gmail.com. And my phone number, direct line to me, is 201-723-6359. It helps to text me first, because a lot of times I'm on a job site, I can't pick up the calls. I'll be running around with my hair on fire and juggling chainsaws at the same time. So shooting a text, sometimes introducing yourself, hey, my name is so-and-so. Do you have a minute? I have this I'm looking to do this and this. I promise I'll get back to you. Sometimes not the most ideal times to reach me like that, but I will get back to you in the best time I can.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Dan, for coming on the show.
Thank you,
Once
Dena.
Again, thank you for watching today. I'm Dena Musfy, and this is Real Estate with Dena. We'll see you next week.